Okay.
That's kind of a long question. You're going to do it again?
My question is, should we contribute to voting in Australia or get signed off and not number any boxes if the current government makes no difference in the long term, as God's government is the only one that matters? And I put that up, just put it in a nutshell as, should Christians vote? So Lyle, take it away.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is that this is a decision between you and God. This is not a decision for me to make. The Bible does not say anything about voting or not voting. The Bible does say some things about government, our responsibilities towards government, and so forth. We're going to look at those passages, but the Bible is silent on the subject of voting. There are a couple of things that you need to take into consideration, and the view that has been put forward here is a fairly cynical view that I think that most Australians have today.
It's true.
And that is that, what difference is it going to make? You put this government in, you put that government in.
They're all a bunch of clowns.
Yeah, and corrupt to the core, and hey, let's run for Prime Minister because next month it'll be someone different.
Yeah. It's so true.
Okay, so there are some reasons why people specifically choose not to vote. One of them being that they are worried that if they vote somebody into power and they then do something immoral, that they are responsible for what that person has done.
That's what I've been told before. Someone literally told me not to vote because if the person I voted in won and committed a sin, their blood is on my hands.
The Bible says, Ezekiel chapter 18 and verse 20, the soul that sins, it shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. You are not held accountable for what somebody else has done. However, you might want to take into consideration what they stand for. If they stand for something that you as a Christian see as being unchristian principles, then that may affect the way that you either vote or choose whether or not you are going to vote. So there are some issues that, for me personally, I take very close to heart as a Christian, social issues, ethical issues that will have quite a determination on the way that I vote, particularly things to do with drugs and alcohol, temperance, these kinds of issues I think are important issues that we should be voting on. There's been a number of those kind of things that I think that that's my opinion. And somebody else can have a different opinion because the Bible doesn't talk about it. Okay, so there are some things that I think that we should really take into consideration. The Bible does say some things, if we go over to 1 Timothy, on how we should relate to our leaders, or our clowns, as the case might be.
The kaleidoscope of clowns.
Yes.
It's, every time someone says Scott Morrison, my brain just quickly goes, who's that again? Oh, that's right, our new Prime Minister.
Who's it going to be? Next week. No. Okay, 1 Timothy chapter 2, and beginning in verse 1, it says, I exhort, therefore, that first of all, supplication and prayer and intercession and giving of thanks be made for everyone, for kings and for all that are in authority. So the Bible says that our leaders are people that we need to be praying for. Scott Morrison is someone we need to pray for on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
And even when probably the opposite of Scott Morrison was in power, maybe Julia Gillard or Kevin Rudd or these guys, we need to be praying for them. Scott Morrison, he's somebody who professes to be a very devout Christian. These other guys did not profess Christianity. Regardless of whether they profess Christianity or not Christianity or some other religion, we should be praying for the people who are in power of the government of our country, whatever that country is, wherever we might be living. So we need to pray for these people. And of course, there's some other passages. Acts chapter 5, I'll just give you these ones. Acts chapter 5, verse 27 to 29, and Romans 13, 1 to 7 talk about obeying legitimate government. And so, if there's a government, it's legitimately in power because it's there by the Constitution, then this is a government that we are called on to obey where it does not contradict what God says.
Thank you so much, Lyle, for answering that. If you have a question, contact us here. Our number is 1-800-FAITH-FM. It's 1-800-324-843. You can text your questions 0491 064 669. This is Keith and Kristen Getty with My Worth Is Not in What I Own.